guys, it's Prickly Hedgehog here, and welcome to another update with regards to the fish tank. Now, a couple of weeks ago, you will remember that I put in a short update with regards to breaking down the tank and rebuilding it. And at that time, the tank was probably still a little bit dirty, pretty stressed. The plants were looking pretty beat up. And now, after almost 4 weeks later, we've actually got some growth coming back. Things are starting to look more like a planted aquarium again. So we've got some work to do yet. I'm still not completely satisfied with where things are at. We've got just some adjustments to make. More plants are starting to come in as well to flesh out the aquascape, and I've had to make some compromises. One of them, of course, is in the front here, the Plecostomus cave, which my wife refers to affectionately as the testicles in the tank. The Plecostomus actually dug underneath those testicles and exposed the clay substrate that I have underneath the sand here, and as a result it basically flooded the tank with a brown grime. Pretty much meant that you couldn't even see in the tank. And then of course the filtration system sucked all that up and caused me quite a lot of headache getting it clean again. I had to do quite a few canister filter changes. Any friendly bacteria that I had in the canister filter subsequently died because of the lack of oxygen from all of that clay. Basically, it just ruined the bacteria that were in there. They were just starved of oxygen. So that was less than ideal. So we had to get that repaired and fixed, and then what I did was I moved the testicles to the front here, and we put them on a piece of slate. I was able to cover up the stuff that they had dug up and did the repair that way, and now we have water clarity, which I'm really happy with right now for the most part. We're still a little bit messy here and there, but we'll get there. A couple of things that I've introduced. One, on this right hand side we've got I think it's a Hydor, I think that's how you say it, filter pump, which is producing a nice gentle wave here, or flow of water, which is counterbalancing a piece of material came loose there, the filter on this other side here, which is still brown actually from all the gunk that I mentioned earlier. This is to create a gentle sort of, not so much turbulence, but just a sort of gentle flow of water in the tank, and it's aimed at the surface here, just to break the surface tension of the water, to prevent any bacteria from kind of forming on that surface and preventing oxygen exchange. To enhance that, on the left hand side I've got a pretty large oxygen wand here. That's probably a little bit overkill here. It looks pretty, but I'm not sure exactly how effective it's going to be, or if it's going to change my chemistry too much, so I'll be monitoring that. But nevertheless, I like the flow that it creates, and it's popped off the glass again, so I don't know if it's going to be successful or not, if it starts driving me nuts, but I do like seeing a lot of oxygen come through there. It's really important to have oxygen in your tank. It helps with the water clarity. It helps with breaking up some of the stuff that I talked about before on that on the surface of the water, the bacteria that will grow there. So if you're wondering why it's necessary to have that, I know some freshwater people kind of frown on having too much water tension broken, but you do need to have that health. You do need to be able to have the plants breathe. They need oxygen as well as CO2. Obviously, I do have, this is a high-tech system, I do have CO2 being injected into the system as well. It's still early days yet. The plants are not quite thick where I want them to be, and we've got some growth to occur yet. This is still in a state of flux, but generally speaking, I'm very happy with the water quality, and I'm very happy with the general health of the plants as they are right now, given how much they were beaten around, ripped out of their environment, tossed into another tank temporarily, put back in, and trimmed and damaged and so on and so forth. They were really beaten around, but they're starting to come back now. So I've got some foreground plants which I'm attempting to grow here. Some of them I got from seed. This big lump here up by the heater, a lot of those came from seed. I wouldn't do that again. I wouldn't necessarily recommend them. I'm going to have to end up hand planting a lot of that stuff back into the ground to see if it's going to grow. If it doesn't work out, then it's going to get shit canned. So we've got some repins growing along this right hand side. I just planted those last night, so I've had success with those in the past, but I had a lot of duckweed that I inherited which really caused me grief. I've manually removed all of that now, and I'm just monitoring any bits that I see and immediately recognize. They get removed from the tank. They tend to grow very well in the low oxygenated tank where there's that biofilm on the surface, and it just contributes to issues and just blocked out the light and caused me a lot of drama. So anyway, that's a side story. The other thing I wanted to mention too is the little epiphany that I had below here. As I said, this is a high-tech. We've got canister filters down here, and I have a CO2 injection system on the right-hand side, although it's a little bit hard to see in here with the lack of light. We've got 2 Marineland 350 canister filters here, believe it or not. And the epiphany that I had was, I had one, obviously, and I had a second tank that I was using. I really like these filters. They're pretty inexpensive. You can pick them up for $100 or less. They have a very high flow rate, and they're relatively easy to operate. So I've got one, and then I had the second one that I really didn't know what to do with, and I had it because I had a second tank that I broke down and I no longer needed. I didn't know what to do with this one. It was sitting in the basement, and then suddenly I thought, hey, epiphany, why don't I use it, fill it with biomedia, and I effectively have a form of a sump, if you like, canister filter entirely devoted to biomedium and just getting that friendly bacteria growing. So it's early days yet. It's got a water polisher in there, which the system does come with when you purchase them. So there's a polisher in there. Then I've surrounded it with bio balls and some stone media, the porous stone similar to like pumice, which traps a lot of surface area, or provides a lot of surface area to trap the bacteria or to encourage the bacteria to grow. And this is a little bit of an experiment, like I said, and so far I've been pretty happy with it. If the tank's water clarity, and again I'm sorry about the background light, it's a nice sunny day, which is nice. If the tank water clarity continues to go along this road, then I'm pretty happy with this, and I'll continue running this system. I'll keep you updated as things go on. I'm about to bring you a series of videos on how to create a successful planted tank, and this is what works for me. There's a lot of information out there, so stay tuned, folks. I hope this helps a little bit with what I'm doing. If you have questions, don't forget to ask, and don't forget to like and subscribe, share, help me out. I'm almost at that 1,000 subscribers. I'm so close, so I really want to get there. That'll be a great achievement, so I need your help to do that. So yeah, enough said, enough waffle. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Prickly Hedgehog out.